Hey guys, it is a lovely Friday morning, and we are kicking off our Team Serious Ladies podcast. I haven't had apparently enough to drink. It is our lovely anticipated mental health event, and it's already started off with our lovely recorded videos. If you haven't seen them from yesterday, we encourage you to go check out the VODs. They have been amazing. If you haven't seen our beta video that we recorded a couple weeks ago that our lovely Jimmy and myself were in, it is just fantastic. Jimmy is one of our great, she's on our podcast. If you don't know her, you should get to know her. Groovy Lobby, I cannot speak. This is great. Anyway, let's get the tissues. Where's my tissues? Groovy is another one of our podcast ladies, and she's going to have some great things to say as well. We're going to touch base and explain, if you don't know and you're a first-time viewer, of what our mental health event is, and this is the first time you've heard of what it is. We're going to break it down for you, and then we're going to get into our experiences with a little bit of what mental health is, and we're going to also give you how to navigate through it, because I myself as a caregiver, we have Jimmy, who is a vet, who is also active duty sometimes, and we have Groovy Lolly, who is in the education world. So you're going to get a roundabout of everything with us with the mental health. But first, we're going to introduce a little bit more for themselves, who they are, what they do a little bit more in depth, and what they're drinking. If you haven't heard or can read, over there. I'm Sage Rage. I'm a Team Serious lady. I'm with a couple other Discords as well, but you see me here every Wednesday. We've changed the day because today is Friday. And I'm drinking many things. I'm drinking tea in my lovely cup that Jimmy wants to take from me. No. And then I have, this is hot tea and this is cold tea. So I'm going to be very hydrated today. And then we're going to pass it on over to Jimmy.
Darn it. I thought it was going to save me. No, not this time. Darn. I'm Hello Jimmy. I am a serious lady. I really just hang out everywhere, nowhere. It depends. Tonight I am drinking Arbor Mist. I just started though, so we're still good. And I also have water in my handy dandy. And twinsy, sorry. I didn't realize we were gonna be twinning. But it's water. Hydration. It's key to not having a hangover. And that's it. That's all I got. Over to Groovy Lolly.
I'm Groovy Lolly. I'm a Team Serious lady as well. I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere, and I'm nowhere. I'm moody. You'll never know when you'll find me, except for always here on the Team Serious ladies, and can be found in the Discord. You just may have to tag me if you specifically want to talk to me, because I'm a busy person, like everybody else. I am drinking hot chocolate with Baileys and whipped cream in it, because that's how I get down.
Apparently she's already started too, so it's fine. And there's a reason why, because mental health is got a really big stigma on it, guys. And Jimmy and Groovy can attest that in their world, and especially mine, it is not talked about. It's not talked about, one, for careers, and when it's talked about with family, they kind of just they side look at you. They look at you like, oh no, we need to go. It's either just too much for someone to bear. They either don't know how to help you, or they feel like if they help you and something goes wrong, it's a burden they don't want to handle. So we're going to talk about that in a minute, but first we're going to talk to you guys about each one of us and how we handle our mental health, what our mental health is, and then we're going to address why we don't usually talk to people so much about our mental health because of the stigmas. So I'm wondering if somebody wants to go first, or if you want me to. Oh, Lord, you two, come on. Is it the stigma? Come on, is it the stigma?
What, you want me to
I'm
go
good.
first?
I'm going to need more hot chocolate first.
Oh, goodness. So we'll start off with me. I am a caregiver mainly with mental health. I have an autistic son. with ADHD, and he has some mental behavior aggression type things that we've been working on since he was the age of 3. I also have a military vet in my household who suffers with PTSD, anxiety, and depression. So I have quite a bit of caregiver going on, and it's been going on for, my son is 10, so that's 7 years with him, and my husband is a vet of 10, almost 11 years in the military, and he has been out now 4 or 5 years. So I've got some things under my belt, guys. It's not easy, and it took me a really, really long time to understand that as a caregiver of someone who's dealing with those kind of issues with mental health, that you have to take care of yourself. And if you don't take care of yourself, you cannot take care of somebody else. I pushed myself to the point to where I almost broke. And I didn't understand for the longest time that in helping my son first, and then when it came time to help my husband, that I didn't know what to do. With my son, it was a little bit easier because it was, I need to get him help. I need to see what he needs. I need to see what he needs. And then with my husband, with his PTSD, his anxiety, it was to the point to where I didn't know how to help him. And he was putting on so much demand on me of, I just need you, I just need you, I need you. But you have to understand that when someone in that perception is telling you, I just need you, and you keep telling them, I'm here, but I don't know how to help you. And they're saying, you need to be here. If you're not here, then I can't be helped. You need to let them know, I'm here for support, but if it's that bad, you need to seek other kind of help, because that kind of, how do you put it? That kind of demand on yourself and that burden can be almost breaking for you. For a child being caregiver, the best way I can put it in the simple and shortest way is you need to give them what they need, just like any parent, but you also need to understand it's okay to step away. Take that time for yourself. Get out of the house. You need to find someone you can trust with your kid, whether that's your other spouse. If you don't have another spouse, you need to find either a caregiver that's close to you. You need to find another family member, but you need to take time to yourself. If you don't, you are going to crash, burn, snap. And sometimes that's what you see on TV, guys, is a parent or a caregiver that snapped. And I didn't get to that point. Don't think I got to that point. I just got to the point to where I was on the bed. I didn't want to move. I couldn't literally care for my kids or myself. And I didn't really recognize what it was. And that was what scared me. So keep that in mind as a caregiver aspect. You cannot care for yourself or your kids, spouse, whoever it is you're caring for, unless you care for yourself first. And that sounds selfish, but it's not. So keep that in mind. So we're going to give it to Russian roulette. We're going to keep going Jimmy, and we're going to let her kind of give you the general roundabout aspect of what she dealt with and how she kind of dealt with a little bit in her area of mental health. And then we'll kind of go back to how we fixed it after Groovy.
Okay, so I realize that mental health is a very large subject that has many different, it's like a house, it can have a lot of rooms. And the easiest one for me to kind of unpack would obviously be the veteran, I guess, point of view. I do suffer from PTSD, depression, anxiety. And with that comes a lot of different aspects of that. The military trains us to do a lot of different things, and it's it's mentally very taxing, mentally, emotionally, physically. They break us down, build us up, use us up, and then, tell us goodbye after a while. And it's not easy. It's definitely something. It's not what I thought it was going to be. It's definitely something that's hard to deal with. And it's hard when one person's a veteran in the household. Fortunately, in my family, or fortunate, depending on how you feel that day. There's 2 of us. And we had separate experiences as veterans too. So that's, also something that plays into, I guess, the dynamics of the after effects of what we've done. And I'm still currently serving. Here in a couple months, I'll have 15 years that I've been doing this. And it's not without its faults, it's not without its hardships. Part of the problem is they tell you got to be tough. And you don't really know what that is. You think it means being macho and, pushing all the feelings down and barreling through what you have to do. And it is true. That is a part of it. But the other part of that is recognizing that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, I'm unhappy or I'm sad or I'm scared or I can't let go. And it's okay to say, I need help. And they don't teach you that part. That's the part that sometimes you have to learn by yourself. That's the part that when you're all alone and you're left to your thoughts, that's the part that you don't know how to get over. And for me, it's a little bit different with my PTSD. I shut down. I go inside. I close off. I go away. I keep thinking, if I just don't think about it, if I just stay busy, I'm going to be able to get through it. And that's not true. It's just not true. All right, Groovy.
Maybe I shouldn't have gone last. No. I don't know. I see a variety of things. My mom has bipolar. She has an official diagnosis. I don't have an official diagnosis, but I take after her a lot, so I'm pretty sure I do have it. I have a lot of the same things. I go through very highs, very lows. I'm not like bipolar schizophrenic or anything. I'm just bipolar. I get very moody. And unfortunately, I used to cry a lot when I was little, so I just stopped from crying. I'd get angry. Because people don't listen when you cry. They think you're weak. And that's just one of those things. You see it? So unfortunately now, as an adult, I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. I cry when I'm mad. I'm a crier. I can't help it. But it helps me to deal. And sometimes there's just no reason for it. It's just I can't deal with today. So you take that time. Sometimes it's just laying in bed. And then the next day you get up. You get some help. You get some hugs. You ask somebody to help you get up. And just sit with you. Just do something. That's all I got right now.
Yeah, it's never easy, and sometimes just having someone sit with you is what it takes. We send hugs, Groovy. We send hugs. So being a caregiver, I've been with my son who's autistic. Public is never an easy place for me, and I never want to keep my son or our son shut off from the world. And I can tell you right now, COVID has not made that easy. I've looked at our kid and I've looked at my husband, and our husband. I'm gonna joke, guys. I'm gonna joke to try and keep from not crying. So you're gonna have to deal with that. I've looked at my husband and I've told him, I said, being a remote learner, because we're not sending our kids back to school. Not this year, maybe not next year. I don't know. But our son has gone from not being able to being touched, hugged, looked at, having no vocabulary, no socialization skills, to You've all met him. He thrives. He has conversations. Now, mind you, he'll ask you the same question 30, 40 times in 20 minutes, but he has conversations and he will look you in the eye. You haven't seen him lately. He doesn't really hold that eye contact anymore. If people come over now, he is off the wall. His socialization skills are going downhill. So things are changing and COVID is really screwing up my family and it's making it harder. So going into public with my child is going back to square one when I was threatened with CPS. And that day was the worst day of my life. I cannot tell you how horrible that day was with me. It put the fear of God in me as a parent, as a caregiver with someone with a disability, because you cannot see disabilities. You can't see PTSD. You can't see anxiety. You cannot see a mental illness. And that's what this world needs to see when we break the stigma. I cannot tell you this. This is why we're doing this. You cannot see mental health. You can't see it. Just like you can't see cancer. You can't see it until you see the side effects of treating cancer. And that's what I want people to know. Until you treat cancer, you cannot see it. Until you start treating mental health, you can't see them starting to get better. And they still have ups and downs, just like cancer. You have ups and downs, hills and valleys, guys. Just like my son right now, he's having hills and valleys. He's in that valley because he's losing things. He's losing his socialization. He's off the wall. His medication's up and down. But we can't adjust it because it's just what it is. So, everyone's like, 2021 is going to be so much better. What? The new year, the ball's going to drop and everything's going to go back to normal? I'm a realist through and through. Yeah, I hope for the best, but I plan for the worst. And with everything as a caregiver that I've been through, that's what I am. Yeah, you know what? People see me as like, oh, you're a downer. Oh, you're a pessimist. Well, you know what? The shit that I've been through, you'd know why. And I'm just like you, Jimmy. Sometimes, I don't like confrontation. I don't like dealing with shit. And I'll go scrub my whole fucking house just to not deal with something. I will scrub it until I cannot stand up. I will scrub it until literally I'm crawling into bed and it hurts so bad that the physical pain feels better than the emotional pain. And I've done it. I will fill my calendar to where I'm so busy throughout the week, I don't have to deal with everything else. And it's just, I've done it. I've learned to get better. I've learned to where I need to sit and I need to deal with certain things. My husband's gotten better about, you need to work through it. You need to process it, whether it's just sitting in bed and you need to veg and you need to watch TV and you need to process it. I don't care how you process it, as long as you're not working yourself to the bone, you need to process it. Sit in bed and cry. I don't give a shit. I don't care if you need to go on a shopping therapy. I don't need if you need to go sit with a friend. I don't care if you need a girls' night. I don't care, but you need to process something. Process it. So he's getting better about helping me. And it does help. He's like, he's told me once when it's gotten really bad, he's like, you need to go talk to a doctor. And that did help because I wasn't sleeping. And when someone that's very close to you tells you, sometimes it's better to talk to someone that's not a friend, that's not a family, but maybe a medical professional, just to make sure you're okay, maybe you should. And sometimes you're not ready for that. I wasn't ready. It took me a couple days to accept it, honestly. And I've confronted my husband once. I'm like, you need to go get help. And when someone tells you that, it's not like, you know what, you're right. I should. Let me go make that appointment. No, I was like, no, I don't. I'm fine. It's fine. It's fine. No, it took me a couple of days to absorb it and accept it. But you guys, take it seriously. Don't get mad at the person. Don't get mad at the suggestion. Just think about it. But, shit happens. Life happens. And it fucking sucks. But mental health, diseases, just because you can't see what we're going through, you can't see our story, you can't see our past, you can't see our family, you can't see anything, doesn't mean There's not something behind us. There's not something inside of us. There's not something behind our closed doors. So please don't ever judge someone. That whole thing of don't judge a book by its cover is 100% true. You can't judge the book because you can't read it first. Read the book. Sit and listen. Whether it's a whole paper book or an audio book, read it or listen. Next.
Well, I guess that means I'm it. So mental health is definitely a journey. And it's a journey that you may spend your whole life going down that road. And I say that because throughout your life, you're going to get traumas. And it's the way that you're taught to deal with those traumas that makes a difference. And I say that because when I was young, I didn't necessarily grow up super great, but I didn't grow up super bad either. It was a mixture of, oh, so we're doing that today. And there were definitely a lot of bad days, but there were some sprinklings of good days. And I like to think that that's what helped me become the person I am today. When I did what I did for active duty and my deployments, wasn't easy. Not gonna lie. But it wasn't hard. And that's how that attitude that I have when I'm like, it's not the worst, is how I lied to myself for so long. I kept thinking, it's not the worst. Somebody out there in the world has it a lot worse than me, so I shouldn't complain. I shouldn't pity myself. I should toughen up, put my big girl pants on, and ride through the storm. I told myself that a lot. So much so that when I got back from my deployment, when I got back from active duty, that I forgot how to live. I climbed so deep inside that I stopped taking care of myself in even the most basic ways. I didn't get out of bed unless I absolutely had to. I didn't shower. I didn't feed myself. I didn't care about anything except for my children. The only time I left my room or my bed was to feed them or take them to school. And that was it. If I had to work, I was going to shower and go to work. Because if you don't shower and go to work, then they'll know something's wrong. I knew just enough and answered just enough of the right questions. I didn't get tossed in the wizard's house, in the tower. So they called it in basic training when you had to go visit the therapist. It was visiting the wizard. And if you weren't good, they throw you in the tower. So I knew just enough to skate under the radar, but not enough to realize that maybe the radar was where I needed to be. And there was this one day.
Well, don't they teach you in the military that if you see the wizard, it's a bad thing as well?
Yeah, they do. Because they're like, well, you're not tough. Not tough enough. Can't handle it. Get out the kitchen. I'm like, well, the kitchen's got a broken AC, motherfucker. And the oven is on. But it's more than that. It's our generation. It's our culture. It's our life. They teach you that asking for help is weak. When really it's not. It's one of the bravest things that you can do. It wasn't until my husband sat me down one day and said, "You're scaring me," that I realized I needed to get help. And it was the scariest moment of my life because he said, "I will take the kids and I will leave. And I won't come back until you're better." I missed so many moments out of fear, out of pain. My son's first concert of high school. I drove him to it. We had a conversation. But I couldn't bring myself to get out of the car. I was afraid. I can do bombs and bullets and dead people. But I couldn't get out of the car to go see him play. Because I was scared to be in a crowd full of civilians. But I was alone in my mind. And I didn't know how to handle it. They don't teach you that part. They don't teach you that the stupid, mundane things are going to scare you. Or that. And you don't even know why sometimes. When I was at a high school, I mean, that is scary. All those teenagers and those hormones. It's terrifying. But I don't know why I couldn't. And it's taken years of therapy. And when I say years of therapy, I don't mean sitting on a couch and crying. I mean gaining true life-changing tools to teach me how to combat the fear and the pain and release the anger. Because there's so much. All the moments that I missed. All those things that I can't get back. All that time I wasted being upset. My therapist, the first time she had me do an exercise, very first exercise, I thought, I can do this. I got this. What do you need me to do? She goes, I want you to go home and I want you to look yourself in the mirror in the morning when you first wake up. And I want you to say 4 things that you like about yourself. And at the end of it, I want you to say, I am enough. And I said, oh, I could do that. It's fine. I got up that next morning and I looked in the mirror and I cried for 45 minutes. And to this day, I still can't say that phrase without stopping just a little. I didn't know how powerful that exercise was. Because I used to think it was vain. And what I didn't realize is I didn't actually believe in myself or place value in myself. Because I thought my service made me just a little bit less than what I was before I did it. A little less of a mom, a little less of a wife, a little less of a person. Because I missed everything. First words, first steps, anniversaries, promotions. I missed it all. And I tell myself I did it for something that was worth it, something that matters. But there's still that little voice in the back of my head, even now, with the therapy and the medicines and the tools. Every day is a struggle. Struggle to accept it, a struggle to understand it, a struggle to find peace within it. It's not impossible, but it's hard. It's like this thing I saw on Facebook the other day. Facebook. There was a teacher told all their students to take a balloon, blow it up, put their name on it, and then throw it out into the hallway. And the teacher said, you have a minute to find your balloon. And all the kids went trying to look for their balloon. None of them found it. And then the teacher said, all right, everybody pick up a balloon. Pick up the balloon, look at the name, find the person whose name is on that balloon. Everybody found their balloon. Teacher said it was a lesson. If you're looking for yourself, for your own happiness, you're not going to find it. But if you help each other and look within each other, you're going to find it, because you can't do it alone. I thought that was pretty powerful. I mean, and probably a bunch of bullshit that somebody like me that was really sad wrote, but it was a good message. And I think it's an important message. Part of breaking the stigma is understanding that we all have it and it's okay. And we all fight it. And as long as we fight it together and we're honest about it, we're going to find a way to find that peace. Good days and bad days. All right. You go, Groovy, because I'm tired of crying.
You just want to see me cry. No. What are we talking about?
Cupcakes.
All right. No.
No, we're not doing that.
So close. No, but seriously, what am I supposed to say?
You're basically giving your past about how you came in with, so basically touch more about what you talked about earlier, and then how you kind of started to combat it a little bit.
Okay. See, I lost track right in there. So moving. Okay. Well, I talked to my significant other. I see my kids, and I want to be better for them. I want to be better for everybody, including myself. I don't want to miss things. I don't want to be in my room all the time. So I talked to my mom. I talked to a doctor. I talked to people, and just try different things to make me feel better. Little steps. Going outside. Going for a walk. Even if it's just to the end of the driveway. Just little things. Taking time for me. For instance, almost every day I take a bath. I know, some people hate bubble baths, but I love bubble baths. Some people hate them, but I enjoy them. I get pains in my hands and my knees, so I like to soak. I like to listen to an audiobook. I like to put the bubbles in. I like to listen to something and just zone. Step away from it all. And just get somewhere else. Escape from the reality of the dishes and the kids and the work and those feelings that are just sometimes so intense, especially if it's my own. Whereas if I watch something, say if I'm watching Steel Magnolias, or I'm talking to somebody else and helping them with their problems, I can focus on somebody else other than myself and feel those intense feelings that become so overwhelming that it's hard to do anything. And finding something that helps you cope, finding those tools, finding those things that work for you. It's just, that's my thing. I take that time to myself. I see my doctor on a regular basis. I find what works for me. And when I need to get out of the house, I say, okay, I'm going somewhere. Like earlier, I just got in the car and drove. I left the house for an hour. I came back, and that was it. I just drove, left, came back. I just needed to get out of that space. And sometimes that's all you need. Just a little something to get you out of it, even if it's just for a little bit. To find that strength. And that's what works for me. And sometimes just crying your eyes out until you can't cry anymore helps too. Just get it out. Okay.
There's many things, and I mean, having cry sessions on camera because COVID sucks works. I mean, we were passing tissues on stream. I mean, you guys have heard all of our stories. These are just literally like a turning page of our stories. If you sat down with us for a full 24 hours, you would only be scratching our surfaces, guys. Everyone has a story. If you think, oh no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't have any mental health. I have nothing. Sit and think. When was a time in your life did you not feel okay? Because trust me, there's a point in someone's life that you weren't okay. And it's okay to not be okay. We're all here. We're all mashed together, and you find those support systems. The times when you vent to your BFF, that's when you're having a coping mechanism. That's when you're utilizing your tools when you're not okay. Having anger, having sadness, having just a day is little bits of mental health. Now, they might not be as extreme as what you're hearing from us, but it's mental health, guys. And the best way I can put it is when you have an illness and you go to the doctor and you get medication and you get better. Now, when you do a follow-up, that is getting better and you're making sure you're better. Now, when you do your kids and you take them in for their 1-year checkup every year, right? That's preventative medication. This is what you do with your friends. You vent, you release, you keep that pressure from basically spouting. So you don't go to your husband or your significant other or your other best friend and just explode on them. You are preventing that from happening, right?
Not that they wouldn't forgive you.
So you are basically maintaining that mental health in a good, healthy state. I mean, I'm not saying unlike us. We have just had more extreme cases in our lives that have something come up to where we have had to either overcome or work through it the rest of our lives. With my son, it's going to be the rest of my life. With my husband, it's going to be the rest of our lives. Jimmy, she's been working through it for a long time and she's probably going to keep her mental health going. Same with Groovy, she's going to keep going. We are going to keep this going, and this is why we are passionate about it, guys. This is why we are helping you. We want you to hear our stories. It's just like every pregnancy. Men, if you're not pregnant, it's fine. If you have significant others who are pregnant, you'll understand not every pregnancy is the same. Mental health. Your stories may be similar, but they are not the same. So don't think, well, that ain't me, guys. I'm fine. Your stories aren't like mine. Okay. I'm bringing lightheartedness to this because we don't want to cry anymore. Anyway.
Well, I think of it like I do in the military. No, in the military, we have something called PMCS, right? It's preventive maintenance. And you got to do it. And I think that what we're doing here is part of preventive maintenance, making it easier to have that conversation, making it hopefully more acceptable to have those conversations, because it's not whether or not you can withstand the shot, it's how best you heal. And if you put the right stuff in, oh, she ran away. What did I say? Was it because I said shot? She went to go get shots? shot. No, it's well, it's what you put in and what you get out of it. And it's okay to get it wrong. And it's okay to fuck it up. Hell, it's okay to just ruin everything. Because you can always, as long as you wake up tomorrow, there's a chance to try again. And that's the thing, too, We had a soldier not too long ago who wanted to kill himself. He hit he hit the wall and was like, I don't know where else to go. He had no money. He had no place to live. He was living on the streets. It was all bad. It was all bad. And one of my sergeants told him, he's like, it's not all bad. So you woke up this morning, right? He goes, well, yeah. And he goes, there's people who aren't waking up today. There are families all over the place because of COVID, because of cancer, because of suicide, mental health issues. They're waking up and they're missing one person in their life or several. And every day that you get to wake up is a chance to try to make it better. And that's important because there are no things in life that are so bad that you have to stop breathing to make it better. The pain is hard. Pain is hard. It's hard. Sometimes when you're going through it, you're like, I don't know about all this.
Yeah.
I think
that's one thing we talk about. That's one thing we talk about a lot. And that's one thing I tell our kids. It might suck right now. Don't worry. It sucks. Like, they think being grounded sucks. It's the worst thing.
Yeah.
Taking their devices into the world. But I'm like, look, it might suck. You might think the world is ending, but it's making you a better person. And no matter what, there's a positive in it because you might not have your device, but you get to see the whole family. It's a positive. You get to do all your chores. It's a positive. You
get to see all these toys on your floor.
I just try and say there's a positive in everything. Even in a bad day, there is something positive. Whether it's this big or this big, there is something positive. Even in mental health, even when you're going through the shit of mental health, there is a positive. Because you could be at the bottom of the barrel. People are like, well, I'm at the bottom of the barrel. How is that positive? Because there's only one way to go, and that is up. So that is a positive. You are at the bottom, which means there's only one way to go. You can go up, and that shows you can find support. You know who's
F that. I can go sideways, eh?
I mean, you can go sideways and climb the wall. You can become a rock climber. So
I don't know where these walls of this barrel is, okay? There is no box for me.
If you're at the bottom of the barrel, does that mean you drank what was in the barrel? So who knows?
I probably did.
So look, there's a positive, and no matter what, you can find a positive. Whether it's, hey, I got a text saying hello, or just find a positive in something.
Wait a minute, who's texting you?
I'm texting you is what I said.
Oh. I thought you said whether I get a text, somebody saying hello. I'm like, wait a minute.
Hey, I didn't get a text. No,
I apologize. I'm focusing.
Okay.
I feel like we should put in a disclaimer. Just because you're sad doesn't mean you should drink, because I literally have been drinking out of the bottle. I didn't know where I put the cup on my desk, and I gave up.
Also, do not self-medicate. Okay.
Yeah, disclaimer.
I felt like I realized it halfway through my drinking. I was like, oh.
Even though it does seem like we do drink a lot on the Team Series.
You know what? It's recreational. I only do it on Wednesdays. Maybe Wednesday isn't the best day to drink.
Just so everyone knows, the Serious Ladies, when we get together for a podcast, have drinks, whether it's non-alcoholic or alcoholic, Jimmy.
Damn. I ain't shit.
This is what we do. But when we're talking about mental health, we knew this was going to be a tough subject. And for those who needed that booth to talk about mental health, they brought it to the table. So please don't think that they are self-medicating while we are discussing this. But please, if you are going through something that is mental health, please don't self-medicate, whether it's with alcohol or pills, anything. If you feel like you are at that point, please seek medical professional help.
We are not professionals.
We are not professionals, and I'm ratchet, okay? So that's why I'm drinking out the bottle. Don't be judging me.
But
she's saving on dishes, okay?
You want to reach out and ask questions or want to talk to someone who is not a medical professional but feel like you want to talk to someone, our DMs are open. Team Serious, you can reach out to us. We will talk to you. But again, we are not medical professionals. However, we are going to let you know that we are breaking the stigma. Mental health, again, we are going to let you know, has this giant stigma. As you've heard from me with caregivers, Jimmy with Army, vet, military, everything, Groovy with everything that she has going on. with her life and how she has talked to you about how she kind of walked through it, how she kind of deals with it. We have a Break the Stigma merch store, and anything that is purchased through there, we receive a how do I put it? Any money that is raised through it, we are going to be donating that money to many different organizations that are nonprofit for mental health. We have RAD Gaming, which is Rise Above the Disorder for anxiety, which is gaming and anxiety. And then we have Wounded Warrior Project, which will be talking on one of our time slots for this mental health event. If you are not aware, it should be today, sometime on the 11th. Should be noon or 1. I'm not sure. I have to look at the schedule. But, and then we have Galaxy Hunt and all of them. We have some great streamers. Those are some other extra ones. And we have our military podcast that is coming up later in the week. So please keep those in mind. We also have some other great organizations that each month when we get the money that comes through that is raised to these, we're going to be sending those off to those different organizations. I have a Break the Stigma mask. We have hashtag Break the Stigma on all of the merchandise. The reason why it is on there, guys, is because when people ask you about it, is a great conversation starter. Start the conversation. Be a part of that conversation. Whether you have mental health that you think is worth talking about, or you can just let them know, hey, this was part of an event that was about mental health. Start the conversation. If you can help just one person, or you can get that one person thinking, it's worth it. And Jimmy and Groovy can attest to it, that not just from this event, that they have helped other people. Jimmy for sure, because that's part of her job. And Groovy because she's in the education work field. So she kind of keeps her eye on people and children. And so she not only lives it and breathes it, but she helps in our Discord. So she, she reaches out to people when she needs to. So you guys, Jimmy and Groovy are going to kind of let you know how they kind of approach people, because people always say, I'm fine. And so they're going to kind of give you the idea of what happens and how they say, are you really? I'm fine, Jimmy. I'm fine.
Wait, so I know.
Don't ask me if I'm fine.
I know that in the military, they give us quite a bit of training. And because of the things that I've done and some of the positions I've held, I've had an extensive amount of training. Working with joint organizations and working with mental health in the military, it's fairly new that we really are genuinely pushing the whole, it's okay to not be okay, it's okay to get help. And when I say fairly new, I mean that. While we have the classes and we talk about it a lot, there's still a lot of stigma within the military. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's like, Thanksgiving with your aunt who wants to know why you're still single. It's awful.
The sexual harassment one. I know.
Awkward.
Like, I'm busy. I can't make it.
And the acting is awful in all these classes, by the way.
That awkward male family member who hugs you in this weird way.
Yeah, we have those.
Okay.
We got a lot of those classes. So I actually got a chance to go to this training a couple years ago called ACE. And it's basically, they give you some scenarios and some tips and some training. And it's actually an organization that I learned on post at NASJRB. The Navy taught it to me. Who knew they were useful? I'm just kidding. I love the Navy. So does all the other people. I'm just kidding.
Uh-huh.
Go Army, beat Navy. I'm sorry. It's like having a cousin or a brother that you love and you abuse, but you love them, so it's okay. But they taught us a lot of different skills, and I didn't realize that those skills were real. Like, they legit, they work. And it's really about listening to someone when they're asking for help. Pay attention, get to know the people in your life, get to know your soldiers if you're in the military. truly understand who they are. And sometimes you got to put the phone down and really listen to what they're saying. There's a kid who their posts were a little bit more darker than normal. Because, I mean, all veterans, we're a bunch of cochinos. We talk a lot of mess. We say crazy things. We think we're macho men and women, because I'm a girl. But sometimes we hurt. Sometimes we say things out of pain, out of anger. And sometimes all we need is someone to listen to us, to hear what we're really saying. I'm hurt. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. And I'm overwhelmed with this emotion to such an extent that I'm not sure I want to be around anymore. And it's a powerful message that even listening to can be hard. But that's the point. Real life is hard. True emotion is hard. Mental health is hard. And it's something that should be about keeping your mental wellness. It should be as easy as walking in and saying, you know what? I ain't doing this shit today. Let me throw the gauntlet down, bro, because I am over it. And that's okay. And you got to really just be honest. Tell the truth. Feel it like it is, but have someone listen. And I thought that was a really, really important message, because sometimes all you do need is someone to hear that cry for help. You know, when someone tells you that they're done with it, they're over it, start giving away their stuff, start telling you that they're not going to be around. They really enjoyed the time they've had with you. Like, those are keys. Those are clues. Those are things that can get you to the doorway to help someone. You know, I'll admit, some of my friends say some crazy stuff to me, and I'm like, bro, like, I love you, but you're a Debbie Downer. I've caught myself saying that. And I had to tell myself, you know what? That's not the right answer. Why are you a Debbie Downer? Now, you could be my cousin, who just likes the chisme and the drama and the crazy. Or you could be like my friend who really needed somebody to listen. And it's hard. It's hard because it doesn't look the same every time. A cry for help's a good cry to hear. Because I would rather listen to someone who bitches and moans and cries on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, in my real ear.
Twatter.
Than
Awkward.
Than attend a funeral. I'd rather someone get help and wake me up at 2:30 in the morning than get the call that they're not around anymore.
And let's be very clear, people. Suicide is not a permanent solution. It is actually temporary. It's temporary for them, and it's permanent for us. It's a permanent regret. It's a permanent what if, what could I have done? Who could have helped them? Did they say something? It hurts the people around you more than it helps you. So the pain may hurt right now. It may feel like I can't get out of it, but just reach out to someone. And if they don't answer, at least reach out to 3 people or to the suicide prevention line, the national suicide prevention line. There are places and people. Groovy, go ahead.
What?
No. Suicide prevention hotline is 1-800-273-8255. Again, that is 1-800-273-TALK.
There's also one you can text as well.
That's true, because you know this generation is all about the texting. I'll get you
Plus,
that number.
Sometimes talking is hard, and it's easier to write things down.
I mean, as long as you don't use people's current. The other day I wrote, I see you literally as eyes you. So I'm just saying you may need to text more.
Less emoji, more actual letters. Got it.
Yes. Real letters.
So, Groovy, in the education world and in your world, that everything you're combating with, how do you help? What do you see? Like, how do you work in that world or help someone that maybe you see similar things that you go through?
Well, it just depends on, like, for instance, my just reaching out and being able to figure out how to talk to people. Like, sometimes we're not taught these skills as kids. I mean, a lot of us miss these skills, or because we don't have siblings, or our parents didn't know and they couldn't teach us just because they didn't know. Or, we were in a bad area. I grew up in a very rural area and nobody talked right to each other. They didn't even spell the name of the town right half the time. And it's not because they didn't know how to spell it. They were just too lazy. It was a cultural thing.
I got questions later.
Later. But it's one of those things, they just did not know how to communicate. And, like, and my brother had Asperger's and was, on the spectrum, and he had trouble communicating. He had to have, like, holding therapy when he was little and things like that. He would, like, it took forever to go anywhere because he would, like, unbuckle while we were going down the road and stuff. We'd have to pull over, buckle him back up. It was a whole thing. But it was just because he didn't like being restrained. He didn't like anything touching or anyone touching him. And I'm sure, Sage Rage has experienced some of that on her own. And if it makes you feel any better, Sage Rage, my brother is married, has a job, has a house. He's a functioning member of society. Sometimes he's still a little weird, but we love him anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be weird regardless.
His really weird phases were 10 to 13 while he was and there's a hormonal thing. It's a whole thing. But there's the whole teenage thing. It's a whole thing.
Don't ask. I'm there.
But a lot of it is...
Are you going through a hormonal phase? Is that what you're saying, Sage Rage?
Don't ask me about Landon. We'll talk about it later. Don't ask me about Jason either.
Hormones, it's a thing. But a lot of, from what I see in the education system, is even, like, parents coming to terms with having a child that needs extra things sometimes is hard enough, and sometimes they need even more support, and seeing that can be, like, they may need to see a therapist, and it's like, oh no, they just have some behavior issues, or they just need more discipline, and sometimes that's not it. They need professional help. Sorry, teachers are not psychologists. We are not equipped to handle that. That is not what we are able to do. We are not trained to do that. We can do the best we can, but at the end of the day, sometimes there are gaps that need to be filled because we don't have those skills to teach them that. It is beyond us, it is beyond you. And sometimes we all just need a little extra support. And I think sometimes it's just hard to see that we need that. Sometimes they need it. Sometimes the apple don't fall far from the tree, people. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, luckily it didn't affect you that way, but sometimes it affects other people that way. Some people it affects more strongly. Like, I got more pimples than my brother did. It's just, we're all different. We all got those different chemicals. It all mixes up different. And sometimes some of us struggle with one thing more than another. I suck at math. He's good at math. We all have our things, and that's okay. We can ask for help. It's the same as asking for a tutor. I need these strategies. I need these tools. So that's what I see a lot, is just sometimes it's the kids needing those extra tools that this social skills class is not helping them. They need extra support outside of the academic skills and academic sets than what we are able to provide. They need this. They need, a medication. Not that it's always the answer because our bodies are changing, but you have to find out what's right for you guys, what's right for everybody.
Didn't hide.
You do you. At the end of the day, everybody's got to figure out what's right for them.
Yeah, I totally.
And sometimes finding out what is needed, starting with baby steps.
So, touching on that, I do want to bring just one more thing to light before we close out. Finding what's best for you doesn't mean the first doctor that you find. So I have a friend who her first husband passed away from cancer. So she is kind of a caregiver or was a caregiver, and her new boyfriend, hopefully soon fiance, because they've been together for a year and a half now. He's fantastic. However, he comes with a son, and everything she's described to me either sounds like autism with behavior issues. He sounds just like Jason, or it could be Asperger's. But they have had him tested. They have taken him to a psychiatrist, and they brought him to one, and COVID has made it difficult. And she sounds like a doctor who, one, doesn't want to medicate. The medication she is prescribed is Adderall, is not Adderall. Jason's been on it, and it wasn't for Adderall. And she says that their parenting skills is the problem, and because she has been introduced, that is throwing him off. So my point to this is, because you find your first doctor and it doesn't seem okay, or you don't agree with them, it is okay to get a second, even a third opinion, and just a fourth, and kind of compare them, guys, and see which doctor best fits you, your methods, your religion, whatever it is fits into your lifestyle. You could be like, oh, I'm not okay with medication. Maybe you're a holistic believer. It doesn't matter, but if you are to that point to where you need help to that extent, you need to find the doctor that best fits your life, best fits your lifestyle, best fits your beliefs, and just works with you. So it's okay to get more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 opinions from different doctors. And it could be in that same office. It could be in a freaking different town. It does not matter, guys. It's okay to disagree with your doctor. Okay? Okay. I just want you guys to know that, because some people don't know that. And I've had to tell a couple of friends of mine, go find a different doctor. You can keep that same doctor, just go get a different opinion and compare them. And they're like, what? So yes.
That's because we're taught that when someone who has a degree, who has knowledge, gives you a diagnosis or an idea of what's wrong, that we're just supposed to take their word for it. And that's not to say that that isn't true, but different doctors treat different ways. And it's okay to not agree with something, because you know your body, you know your children, you know your family, you know your brain. So, if you don't feel right, because I'm the kind of person, I'll go see a therapist, and if I don't like that therapist, me and you are going to stare at each other, and the VA will pay for it, okay? We're going to stare at each other for 45 minutes, and I ain't got shit to say. Unless you want to.
Let me tell you this. I took my son to a psychologist. Psychologist to me, I'm like, no, you don't make sense. He was dealing with the sensory issues, guys. It's so funny. He was dealing with behavior issues and sensory issues. I'll tell you what my breaking point was, and I took my son and I walked the fuck out. Anyway, she goes, let's take a feather. I'm not degrading psychologists. Y'all fine. But this was just not me, and this was not how it was going to work with my son. She's like, let me take a feather, and we're going to just. He was like, what the fuck are you doing? I want to play with all your toys. He's got ADHD. He is autistic. So those two things together don't go well. Okay? First, ADHD, you're like, oh, squirrel. Oh, squirrel. Oh, squirrel. And autism, you're like, what's that? What's that? What's that? So let's just put those two things together. So she's trying to do this, and he's like, toys? 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 Okay. Now he's got a behavioral issue to where if you correct him to keep him on task, he's going to shut the fuck down. Done. Okay? So as she's trying to force him to be touchable, he's shutting down. She takes my child, picks him up without my permission, and puts him in the fucking corner. He's 4 years old.
What did he do wrong?
He didn't want her touching him with a feather.
I don't want her touching me with a feather. I don't have a bit.
When he tried to get out of the corner, she forced him to stay. I got up and left. So
Bye.
You let her live?
yeah, I didn't want to go to jail that day. Anyway, so
I got thoughts.
I was done. And because of his age, it was already hard enough to find psychologists where we lived. So I could not find a second opinion. I stuck with my psychiatrist that I liked, but I did not go back to a psychologist. So it is okay to either one, leave your doctor if you cannot find another one, but two, if you need a second opinion, it's okay.
That's a valid point. That's a valid point.
Give up.
You don't have to agree
Never
with your
surrender.
doctors, guys. It's okay.
It is.
They call it practice for a reason. Everything doesn't work with everybody.
That's true.
Called
And
a
you're paying
practice.
for it. So why are you going to pay for a service you're unhappy with? That's like saying, I don't like my cable company, but go ahead and keep just ramming it up there. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's a scam, but it's fine.
I mean, are you going to go to the doctor and then be like, oh, you have a broken wrist, but let me give you cough syrup?
What kind of cough syrup? Is it grape?
It might make me forget about it for a little bit.
Is it grape flavored?
I've had that happen, and I've gotten a second opinion, but I ended up in the hospital for 4 days, and my tonsil partially removed. But I got a second opinion, and it saved my life.
I can't with you today. Nope. Just to touch on it, the text number for the crisis hotline while you're talking trash about it. It's free 24/7. You can call for US and Canada. It's the same number, 741741. For the UK, you can text 85258. And for Ireland, Ireland's in there. I love you, Ireland. 50808. 50808. Just making sure. I have been drinking. Those are the numbers. If you would like to text, that you can call. All of these organizations can be found on the teamseriousdfw.com Breaking the Stigma section. Just FYI, you can find all of the things we talked about there.
Yes.
Okay, but what if I, as an American, want to call the Irish line?
I mean,
they won't help
you. I mean, they might. You just might not understand all the slang.
The different. Okay, so let's clarify that.
They just call me bye.
The main reason why they would prefer you to call where you are located country-wise is because if for some reason you need medical help because you are not okay, they can actually send someone to you physically.
Well, if you're going to make sense, I would call the one that you're located in.
Yeah. So actually, Jimmy is correct. You can find this in the Team Serious website. We are also going to be dropping links throughout the whole podcast that you guys have seen. You've probably seen them dropped already. We're going to drop them here at the end as well for the Team Serious website. We also have a digital packet with all information for New Zealand, Canada, the US. There's a UK in there. So you can click those links if you need them. You can download it, keep it in your back server with the Team Serious website as well. On the Team Serious website, it has the organizations that we are donating to, so you can check those out as well. If you need anything from us, again, we are in the Team Serious Discord. Hit us up. You can hit up any admins. You can hit anybody up. It's not just us. But you see our lovely faces, so you know who we are. We're going to have some great funny. Not funny.
I mean, a little bit.
So if you guys haven't seen the schedule on social media, please look it up. We are going to be hosting those streamers on our Team Serious Twitch, Facebook, and everything else. If you cannot find them, that's fine. From there, please go to their direct channel so that you can give them love and support. If for some reason you can't, just look on our Twitch and Discord. But we have Galaxy Hound today at 2. That will be on our Twitch because they will be on our StreamYards. And then we have Dry Gaming at 6 p.m. We have our Veterans podcast at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, guys. These are all Central Standard Time. And then we have, that's going to go a little longer. And then we have I Am Jericho at 11 p.m. tonight. So please, please, please support. If you don't really have to be active, if you have other things going on in the background, that's fine. Just show up and listen. That's all we ask, is that you listen. Listen to what they have to say, because like I said, and Jimmy has said, and Groovy has said, hearing their stories might resonate with you or someone that you know. So anyone have anything they want to add at the end of this?
I do. I want to remind everybody that they are important, they matter, and they're enough. And while sometimes it's hard to say that to yourself, it's really, really easy to tell somebody else that they matter. And we care about you guys. We want you guys to be mentally good, physically good, emotionally good. And we want you to be somebody's sunshine, gosh darn it. So get help if you need it. Help someone get help if they need it. And remember that there is no problem that is too big that we can't conquer it together. That's all I got.
It's not weak to ask for help, even though sometimes it feels that way. Ask for help if you need it. Sometimes we get tired fighting our own demons, and it feels like we're losing. And that's just because we're so tired of fighting. Ask for backup. Get somebody in there to help you, help lift you up, take you out of the ring for a little bit. Sometimes we all just need a break from other people, and we just need somebody to go like, I got you. Let's just chill. Let's do this together. We'll get in there together. And that's okay. Just get somebody to help when you need it. It's not weak. It's just taking a moment.
Yes. And going off of both Jimmy and Groovy, I want everyone to know that no one's story is better or more significant than anybody else's. No one's past, no one's anything, no one's mental health is greater than someone else's. And I've learned through this entire journey, through my past, through all the education that I've learned these past couple months, is there's no hierarchy in any mental health. Everyone is literally equal. So don't think, well, mine's not as great or as important, or you know what, mine's not as significant. I'm fine. No, yours is just as important as Jimmy's. Mine is just as important as Groovy's. It is all important. You are important, no matter how little you think yours are. Or mine's not really going to help anybody. Yes, it will. I guarantee you, you can help somebody. And I guarantee just that one is going to make the biggest difference. And that is literally our goal. If this whole event can help just one person, which we already have, and we haven't even kicked it off when we help that one person. So we have exceeded our goal. So if we continue to help one person a day, even during and after this, you guys, that is phenomenal. And we're going to continue this on. So you guys don't think your story is not good enough. You are good enough, like Jimmy said. Everybody is enough. Jimmy, you are enough. And that's why we love you. Groovy, you are enough. And that's why we love you. I am enough. And everyone who is watching this is enough. Please take care of yourselves, your mental health, your family. Please stay safe during these times of COVID, and have a happy, happy holiday, guys. From us here at Team Serious, the Ladies Podcast, we all love you. We are blessed to know you. And we are so very thankful that you have listened to each and everything that we have had to say. I tried not to cry. We are going to close out. We're going to pass it on. And please, please don't leave. The next person that is going to be telling their story is also very important, and they are enough as well. So please give them time. And we are hoping to see you after the holidays. Much love, guys. Much love.